Hey guys, this is Two Kids in a Trenchcoat, a football podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jacob Rosenfarm.
I am your other host, Ryan Sharp.
And I am the producer, Josh Sackless.
So this week we figured we'd take on a new format for this podcast. We thought we were severely shortchanging the previews of the week ahead, so what we decided to do is split this up into two shorter podcasts. That way the week behind us and the week ahead can each get equal time on the air.
We're all for equal rights for NFL weeks here on Two Kids in a Trenchcoat.
Josh is right. Well, all we care about is giving the fans more content to please their little souls, because that is what the world is clamoring for, is more Two Kids in a Trenchcoat.
Yep, that is exactly what we need.
So yeah, in the current social climate, I can think of no better way to solve all of our problems than more football podcasts. So, let's jump right in.
Yeah, so you just brought up problems, and our Thursday night game from last week definitely had a bunch of problems, at least for one of the teams. Giants falling to the Eagles 34-13. Things not looking good in New York.
No, man.
What's going on there?
Just Eli's trash. Like, Eli's so bad. That's the crux of all these New York problems. I think they all stem from that. I think people can complain as much as they want about Odell Beckham. I don't think anybody's complaining about Saquon. I don't think think you'd be hard pressed to really blame Saquon for these problems. And so, like, if every Giants fan looked themselves in the face, the answer is Eli Manning. That's the problem.
I agree with you 100%. Something we've talked about before, and something Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were talking about a little bit on Thursday night during the game, is that aside from being the leader in terms of stats, Saquon Barkley is really what's holding that team together right now. And I admire that. I think that's a great trait to have as a rookie.
Like emotionally is what you mean, right?
Yes.
That's crazy.
But at the same time, that shouldn't have to be his job.
Yeah, really.
So I think Saquon's in a real rough spot, but he's doing great. I'm happy for him.
There has to be like a short list of rookies who have come in and immediately been the most stable player on the team. Like that's a horrible sign.
Yeah, that just seems like super wild to me. I don't remember it.
No, yeah, exactly. I it's not in my lifetime it feels like that it's been this bad for a team, this dysfunctional in terms of where a rookie has to come in and calm everyone down.
Yep, that's definitely not what you want. Odell Beckham had another, I don't know what to call it, outburst at an inanimate object. I mean, I don't care about that. If that's how he psychs himself up and gets ready to play more football, then he has to do what he has to do.
Sure.
It just seems like there's a lot of finger pointing going on there, and it's going towards the wrong people.
Exactly. That's my biggest problem with New York, is that everyone's trying to blame someone else. You know, and I don't feel like Pat Shermer's doing a great job either. I feel like this situation could be a lot more calm and kept in-house, and I feel like neither of those things is true right now.
Yep. We were both hoping for it. Towards the end of this game. How long is it, do you think, until Kyle Olutta or Davis Webb make an appearance?
Oh, man. I mean, I want to say like 2 weeks. If it was truly based on performance, it'd be like 2 weeks. But I think knowing where this Giants organization's head's at, like I don't think there is enough evidence in the world that can compel them to make a switch at quarterback.
Yeah, just given the outrage from when they benched Eli Manning last year.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't see why they would do it again.
By taking Saquon too, you have committed to a full year of Eli.
Yeah.
Like you can't. It looks so bad on your franchise.
We took this running back to take the load off our quarterback, who were
gonna bench.
Yeah,
that's. I mean, they're dysfunctional as hell now, but that's just a different level.
Yep. So I think they're in real contention for another top 3 pick.
God, yeah. I mean, that's the plan. You get 2 top 2 picks. That's the reason Saquon works out, is because we're going to get another top 2 pick.
Yep.
But,
I've already started film study on these college quarterbacks, so.
Yeah, oh man.
Yeah, don't get us started about the draft.
Justin Herbert in a Giants uniform, that's kind of sexy.
Yeah.
Imagine even Drew Lock. That'd be kind of cool
too. So yeah, I feel like that's good content for later on in the year.
Oh, definitely, yeah. When we're getting bored, when we're twiddling our thumbs.
Yeah. So other side, Eagles looked pretty stable. Carson Wentz looked what I thought was the most confident under center that he's been this year. So.
Yeah, I agree. The receiving corps balled out. Alshon looked really nice. Alshon looked like this is his best game since he's returned from injury.
Yep.
He looks like the old Alshon, and that's a huge point for them. Like if they're able to get their skill position players back to where they were last year, that could be the key to unlocking what so far has been a pretty lethargic offense.
Yep. I think if they can maintain at least close to what they did offensively and defensively on Thursday night, then they should be in a pretty good position to kind of coast through this division the rest of the year. Maybe they get a bye, maybe they don't. Looks unlikely right now, but you never know. We'll see.
I'm curious how they handle the rest of their backfield for the rest of the year, with it looking like Ajayi out for extended time.
Yeah, that will be interesting. There were rumors about LaShawn McCoy, homecoming.
Cool. Yeah.
I wanted that super badly.
LaShawn McCoy, David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell. There's been all the rumors flying.
Yeah, and just nothing's coming together.
I mean, on one hand, I feel like the running back position has never been less valuable. Like, you can find skill, anywhere. But I'm still having a hard time believing that a Super Bowl contender can trot out a running back committee of Wendell Smallwood and Corey Clement.
Yeah.
Like, if that
and Darren Sproles.
And in a kind of healthy Darren Sproles. I don't know. If that's what you're going with, I'm worried.
Yeah. Running back is something the Eagles should probably think about addressing, but that's just a hunch.
But I'm just curious. Can you really address that through the trade market? Like, does it really make sense to give up assets?
It's really tough to do that, especially for a position that's so expendable. So
exactly. It's really tough, and you're really going to give up assets.
Yeah.
Like,
how badly do they want a really good running back?
Yeah, exactly. They have to prioritize that. Now, I would be shocked if they really held that in a super high esteem.
I think a bigger priority for the Eagles is their offensive line. It was really good last year for them. It protected Carson Wentz for most of the year. His injury was when he was rushing out of the pocket. So that's not really on the offensive line. They protected him a fair amount of the year. They gave Ajayi a lot of good opportunities last year. They protected Nick Foles last year. It was just a good offensive line. And this year, for some reason, the Eagles' offensive line just hasn't looked that good.
Yeah.
Early in the game, the Giants were swatting a lot of Carson Wentz passes at the line. So if they're really going to address a position, either through the trade deadline or through the draft or free agent signings, I think that position should be offensive line.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I'll take your word for it. I think this is still an elite unit, if we're being honest. I still like all the pieces they have individually. I think Jason Peters is still one of the top tackles in the league. Lane Johnson's still I think he's the best right tackle in the league. Maybe outside of Jeff Schwartz, but like there's a small handful of offensive lines that have taken over Eagles. But performance-wise,
I can see how they've been struggling.
Yeah, performance-wise,
they've been struggling, and Jason Peters has a tough time playing a full season.
I mean, he's getting it's like 37 now. I think 36. So he's getting up there.
I think they'll get it together though.
I'm not too worried. Yeah, I mean, I think this was a
Giants for a good tune-up game and have the long week ahead. So
exactly. Yeah, not too worried about Philly.
No, all right. So that was a NFC East matchup. Let's move to an NFC South matchup now. Falcons-Bucks, close game and almost a win for the Bucks here, but
almost the coolest last play in NFL history, if we're being honest. Like I say that knowing that the Music City Miracle exists, knowing that I'm trying to think of knowing that every Aaron Rodgers Hail Mary exists. If the Bucks had pulled off the play they were trying to execute on Sunday, that would have been the coolest end-of-game play in NFL history.
Yeah, if you weren't watching the game, Jameis Winston kind of ran into a bunch of guys just trying to make a play at the end zone. Lost the ball. Then
pitched the ball. Tried to pitch the ball.
Tried to pitch it. Someone else, Mike Evans, that picked it up.
Yep.
And then he tried to lateral it back to Deshaun Jackson, who just could not get a clean handle on the ball. And if he had, he probably would have walked it in the end zone from about 5 yards out.
He had a clear path, and that would have been, oh my God. The Mike Evans, if Mike Evans had taken a millisecond more to plant his feet a little bit and do a slightly better throw, because the one he had was right at Deshaun Jackson's ankles, like, it was the worst possible
It was
throw.
a tough play to make.
Yeah, I don't think anyone should be mad at Deshaun Jackson, but if you just put that near his face, and oh my man, that would have been cool. Because it was a designed quarterback run, too.
Yeah.
Their thought on the last play of the game was, get Jameis up to like the 7 and just see what happens. And I mean, props to Dirk Cutter. That's an interesting play call, and it kind of worked. And it almost really worked. Like I think it worked for in the independent sense of the play, and then it almost really worked and won them the game.
Yeah, close, but not close enough. What are your takeaways from this game besides an almost really cool last play?
Takeaways, two really crappy defenses going at it. I mean, we saw this morning, Tampa Bay Bucks fired their defensive coordinator. First coordinator fired this year. Makes a lot of sense. Really bad defense. A lot of talent there. That's still, I think, I would love to see if they could put something together there because there's so much talent. But yeah, the Falcons look really good. Matt Ryan is playing out of his mind. Calvin Ridley looks like the real deal. This was a fun game. Just two explosive offenses.
Yep. Matt Ryan, you were actually the one that told me this, so I'm going to share it with the rest of the people if that's okay. Passed Joe Montana on the list of all-time touchdowns.
That's nutty.
That is so wild. It just shows how the passing game has evolved.
We were talking about this a little last year. I think it was on air. I think it was on podcast. How just the passing records in like 5, 10, 15 years are going to look super wonky.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be some weird stuff in the record books because of just this era of football and how it inflated all these passing numbers.
Yep.
I mean, Joe Montana before, I was talking to my friend right before this podcast. For anyone over 30, Joe Montana's a GOAT. And that's crazy. Like, and he just got passed by Matt Ryan.
Yeah, who's he has the MVP, but
yeah,
what else is Matt Ryan really
I remember
have?
Matt Ryan for 28-3.
Yeah,
that's how I remember.
If we're being honest, yeah.
I mean, that will be a fun trivia question of the Matt Ryan MVP. Like, because I think that year, I will forget that year much quicker than I will 28-3.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's crazy.
The Saints are looking like they're starting to pull away, but Tampa Bay hanging in there a little bit in the NFC South.
Yeah, Tampa Bay's still frisky. I mean, I don't want to close the door on the Falcons season. It's not looking great, but I don't know.
Yeah. This loss hurts This loss is less damaging to Tampa Bay than it would have been to Atlanta. I think that's kind of obvious, though. They're 1-4, 1-5. I don't know if there's any coming back from that. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, who knows if there's coming back from 2-4 in that division, even. But still, this is a good win for the Falcons.
Yeah, for sure. So moving on now, we have kind of a weird game, something that seemed kind of sloppy. Redskins and Panthers. Redskins coming out on top, 23-17 in that one.
Yeah, this was a super weird game. This one I didn't catch a whole lot of this game. I feel like there was always better games on. But, But this was just a weird game. The Redskins offense looked much more dynamic than I anticipated.
Yeah, this Redskins team is really weird. They come out, they put on a show against the Packers.
Yeah.
And then they laid an egg against the Saints on Monday Night Football. And here they are again beating this pretty good Panthers team 23-17.
Yeah, I can't make heads or tails of it if I'm gonna be honest.
It just seems like every time we say something bad about Alex Smith, he does something good, and then we're like, oh, he might be all right, and then he just.
That's the thing, though. Not that great a game. 21 for 36 for 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. Granted, I mean that's impressive, but 163 yards on 21 completions. That
is not that great.
That's check down king right there.
Yeah, I mean Alex Smith is.
Yeah, it fits into his identity very well. But
to give Alex Smith just a tiny smidge of credit, other than Adrian Peterson, what are his weapons?
I think Vernon Davis is solid. Paul Richardson's all right. Like nothing like elite, obviously, but like fine. But I mean, it's just a clear schematic shift from what they were doing with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was chucking the ball around the yard, and now with this team, this is so simplistic and so just elementary. But it worked. It worked against the Panthers team that I have really high hopes for.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a shift from Kirk Cousins. But, again, the weapons aren't there for him to go deep. What were you going to say, Brian?
I was just saying, going back to the Panthers, I think they're still pretty good. We talked about how the AFC South might have had the most intense playoff race, but it might be the NFC South at this point.
Yeah.
In terms of who gets probably the 5 and the 6 seed, if the Saints keep playing the way they are. But like we've said a couple times already, we just don't know.
So you think this might have been a misquote by you, but what you just said means 2 NFC South teams as the 2 wild cards. Is that what you mean, or do you mean the 4 and 5 seed?
One of them would be going for the 5 or the 6.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, no, not 3 teams from the NFC South, but where 2 teams are competing to get one of those wild card spots.
Definitely, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I think this is just a super competitive division. I really like all these teams. Cam, I don't know. I don't know what to make of Cam after this game. Nothing this doesn't change my opinion of Cam, but some poor decisions, some overthrows. This is kind of a game you need to win if you're an elite team, and they did not.
Yeah, I guess just an off day.
You would have to think.
He said after the game, he's done sobbing. I think that's what he said, and he's just moving on. So, I think he'll be able to do that. This will definitely be one of Cam Newton's worst games this year.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
I mean, statistically, he was not that horrible. Only threw one pick, but like he just didn't put his team in position to win.
No.
So that's not what you're looking for. But I think we're not giving enough credit to this Washington defense. They have made an effort up front to recreate Alabama. I don't know if it's by coincidence or it was an actual concerted effort. But back-to-back picks of Jonathan Allen and then Deron Payne. Jonathan Allen last year, Deron Payne this year, both elite athletes, both studs along the defensive end, along the defensive line, but also both went to Alabama. Like, I don't think that's a coincidence. I think they saw a clear pipeline of talent coming out of Alabama and undervalued talent and jumped on it, and it's paying dividends right now.
Yep, that is very true.
Yeah, so I personally coming into this year thought Washington's defense was average to below average, and I think we kind of have to reframe our perspective.
We did definitely undersell that Redskins defense a little bit.
Quentin Dunbar too, as corner,
Yep.
one of the best in the league, one of the most underrated players in the league. Like him and Josh Norman is a top probably 10 pairing.
Yep, I wish Kendall Fuller was still on this team.
Oh man, imagine if they hadn't made that. Even if I'm independent of Alex Smith, if they just kept out Kendall Fuller, that's huge.
Yeah, that is huge for the Redskins defense, but that is not what it looks like. So I guess we can go on to our next game across the pond. Seahawks blowing out the Redskins Raiders 27-3.
Yeah, I think a lot of us saw this one coming. This Raiders team is a crap show.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. But yeah, this Raiders team is so bad. John Gruden is a freaking joke. It fills my heart with so much joy. But yeah, the Seahawks. I think this tells me more about the Raiders than it does about the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Did you guys see there is already a countdown clock online created by Raiders fans until the end of John Gruden's contract?
I think it's funny that they think John Gruden's gonna be there for the extent of his contract.
Yeah, that is that's some, I don't know what to call it, wishful thinking.
Yeah, that's
because like if they obviously, if they're counting down to it, they don't want it to go that whole time, but they're also expecting it to.
Yeah.
See, their owner has a child's haircut.
Facts.
And when you're making decisions like that about your hair, how can I trust you to make the right decisions about firing your head coach?
I mean, you're not wrong, but
Yeah.
I mean, he made the wrong decision firing Jack Del Rio. So,
Yeah, that was his first problem.
So maybe he makes a similar mistake and doesn't fire the right guy. But I'd have to think that they're seeing the writing on the wall that John Gruden needs to go back to the booth.
Yep, I agree with that completely. At least the fans are. We talked about this a little bit earlier tonight. It seems like Mark Davis just doesn't care.
Yeah, just apathetic and just doesn't seem to mind at all if his team's one of the worst in the league.
Yep, he just wants to own the Las Vegas Raiders,
Yeah.
and that's, really about it.
Yeah, he has a personal countdown clock of the days until they move to Vegas because
Yep.
he is ready to get out of Oakland, ready to get out of O.co. He is gone, and yeah, I think he's ready for that.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think he's pretty willing to sacrifice this last year or two in Oakland.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't care, just make it come faster.
I mean, it kind of makes sense. So if you're an owner, you have had your fathers own this team. You are, this is a family business. So there is no conceivable end to this reign of terror by the Davis family. Why does 1 year matter? Like, to him, I kind of get it.
Yeah, that does make sense. It's just, it probably sucks a lot for the fans. Also, Josh, I know you said that's what she said after I said come faster. He just didn't say it over the microphone.
Thanks, Josh. Thank you. That is the type of content.
I can't read lips, but I knew exactly what he said.
On that note, yeah, like I said, I think we learned a lot more about the Raiders than we did about the Seahawks, but I don't think we learned a whole lot about either, particularly, if we're going to be honest, just because Seahawks are okay and the Raiders are god-awful.
Yeah, that's exactly what we got. We got an okay team against a really bad team, and the okay team won, and the really bad team looked even worse than they did before.
You see that the Raiders are trying to trade Amari?
Really?
Yep, trying to trade Amari Cooper, asking for a first-round pick.
Wild.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, man, he's definitely worth it.
John Gruden, if he could transport himself back to the Monday night booth, he would all he would do would just talk about how fantastic Amari Cooper is and how much he deserves a first-round pick.
Yeah.
Because I think he might be the only person in the universe who believes that anyone in their right mind would think, yep, Amari Cooper, that's worth sacrificing a potential stud and a rookie-controlled contract for the next 5 years. Like, yeah.
He would also do a weekly segment every Monday night about the best pass rusher on each team and why pass rushers are just so hard to find in today's NFL.
Yeah, I feel like that'd be a focal point of his return to the Monday night booth. But
the emphasis on coming across a good pass rusher.
And just how important it is to once you get one, to hold on to one.
Yeah, they're not handed to you either. You just don't show up and they're there for you.
No, that doesn't happen very often.
No. So I guess with that we can move on to our next game here. That's the Jets beating the Colts 42-34. Okay, Dave, for Sam Darnold, do you think?
Yeah, I liked what I saw from Sam Darnold. I'm not gonna way over exaggerate. I mean, I loved what I saw last week against this Broncos. Like, to me, that was a legit coming out party for Sam Darnold against a defense that I believe is above average. Colts, almost the exact opposite. Like, I think the Colts are one of the worst defenses in the league. I've yet to see anything from them that indicates to me that this is a unit that deserves any sort of recognition. Any performance against them is kind of seen as
that's
what you're supposed to
another
do.
game. Yeah,
exactly. So Sam Darnold again, 24 for 30, 280 and 2 touchdowns. That's a great game. That's some efficiency right there. That is some placing the ball where it needs to go. But I don't want to way overreact just because it's still the Colts defense.
For the Jets on defense, do you think they shouldn't be at all concerned giving up 34 to this Colts team? Or
I would be, yeah, to a certain extent. I think they had been great at forcing turnovers, and that didn't stop this week. They got a lot of, I don't want to say fluky, but there are some teams that just kind of have a nose for the ball, and that's clearly this Jets defense. They're not a great unit, but they are great at turnovers.
This week they got the stops when it mattered. So.
Exactly, that's all that really mattered. They got the stops that mattered, and I think the score is a little closer than how I don't think this score perfectly illustrates how dominant this Jets team won. There was a garbage time.
Yeah, that is true.
There. The Jets defense for putting up 42 points. I mean, there's only so much you can expect from your defense.
Yeah.
If they're the other team's gonna be constantly throwing at that point.
Yeah.
And so I'm still impressed by the Jets defense.
Yeah, no, that is a very true point. I had forgotten about that garbage time touchdown. So
yeah, Jamal Adams, another fantastic game. He is a stud. Not that we needed any convincing, but yeah, he is a freaking stud.
Yep. So I guess we can move on now, you think?
Yeah.
So Vikings-Cardinals, this game looked like it was going to be close for a little while. Vikings pulled away at the end, win this one 27-17.
Yeah, I'm not convinced this was ever really that close. Like, yeah, it was technically tied, but I'm still not positive that the Cardinals ever really had a shot in this game. Rosen, again, super conservative play calling, never really gonna take a risk with him, it's clear. And I worry that's going to be his handcuff this entire year, is that they're never going to let him loose.
Yeah, that is true. And I worry that might get frustrating for not only Rosen, but the rest of the team as well. You know, they want to be out there making plays, and I'm sure they want their teammate to be making plays as well. But if they're not going to let him, I could see how that could definitely become an issue in the locker room.
No, for sure. So I'm curious to see how they handle Rosen going forward, how much they unleash him against these elite defenses. How much are they willing to let him fly? Because I think he could easily have some rough games, have some 3-4 pick games, the way he chucks the ball around.
Yeah, but they also really don't have anything to lose.
True.
Or gain.
True.
They look like, a 3-13 team right now. So what's the difference between 3-13 with Rosen throwing, short out routes, or 3-13 with Rosen throwing the ball down the field?
For a team that doesn't need a quarterback, I'm pretty convinced the difference between the 2 pick and the 4 pick is negligible. I really don't think teams are that concerned about it. So I really hope that Steve Wilks opens up his playbook a little more, sees what he has in Rosen, and maybe tries to form more of a connection between Rosen and Kirk. I mean, we saw it on that first touchdown last week.
Yeah.
There's something there. So I'd love to see that expanded upon and see what that pairing could do.
Yeah, Steve Wilks needs to let Josh Rosen be the Hebrew Hammer.
Oh man, the Hebrew Hammer.
Yes.
Top 5 nickname, top 5 nickname in football right now.
Yeah,
top
for
5
sure.
Jewish nickname of all time.
I think number 1 Jewish nickname of all time. I'm not even sure it's close. Does Alex Bregman or Roger Maris have a good nickname that I don't know about? Because the Hebrew Hammer is topping all of them. I think yeah, that is
not that I know of.
Hank Greenberg, any great nicknames for him?
I guess Hammer and Hank, but that also works for Hank Aaron.
That is true.
Yeah, I definitely think of Hank Aaron for Hammer and Hank.
Yeah. What? You don't think of Hank Greenberg as your all-time Hank?
I mean, yeah, but not hammering Hank.
Fair. But for the Vikings, great win to get back on track.
Yeah,
Like, this is exactly what you need. Probably a little closer than they would have liked, but clearly the better team from start to finish, and they showed it.
Yep, for sure. I liked most of what I saw from Kirk Cousins, except for that touchdown dance he did. I don't know what that was.
I saw a video of that. That's
I appreciate the effort. So like A for effort, C for creativity.
It's like the McGregor celebration for someone who's like really lazy and doesn't really want to do it all the way. It's just like, I'm gonna swing my arms around. This kind of looks cool, right?
Yeah.
I think he was trying to be funny, and I don't think it worked
it
well.
did not work too well for Kirk Cousins,
Yeah.
but he did score a rushing touchdown, which
Exactly.
is cool.
Yeah.
And of course, it helped his team win the game. So
Latavius Murray also balling out. 24 carries, 155 yards, and a touchdown.
yep,
Nice.
stepping up in the absence of Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, I mean,
Dalvin Cook, who you drafted before Melvin Gordon fantasy.
Boo, shut up. But yeah, Latavius Murray balled out. That's a hell of a performance. Cardinals, this run defense is. I mean, this entire defense is rough, but specifically this run defense.
Yep. Going back to Latavius, I think that's a really good thing to know moving forward. That you have this guy who's starting to really get things together when it's looking like Dalvin Cook might not be always healthy.
Exactly.
So.
If Dalvin Cook's not the player we thought he was coming in this year, it's great to have a backup of Murray's caliber.
Yeah, that's definitely what'll, not that alone, but it'll definitely help keep them in contention. So.
Oh, undoubtedly.
So yeah.
Moving on.
Yep.
Moving on
Slugfest in Cincinnati. Steelers with the walk-off beating the Bengals 28-21. This was a really weird game, I guess. It had an over/under of 50. It hit 49.
Tell us why that's of particular interest to you, Sharp. Did you happen to have money on that particular bet?
I might have picked the over.
Interesting. That's
So we still got a good game though, so I'm not too worried about it.
But yeah, 49 points on an over/under of 50 is what we in the business call a damn shame.
Yeah, for sure.
That's rough. But besides your personal loss, hell of a game.
Yeah, for sure. How long was it when Joe Mixon scored? Like a minute left.
Something like
Plenty
that.
of time for Roethlisberger, though. I was quite surprised to see Ben Roethlisberger pull off the game-winning drive with 70 seconds left on the clock.
He is looking friskier and friskier by the week. It's almost like
it's weird.
Yeah, it really is.
He's aging backwards.
Exactly. Some Benjamin Button stuff up in here. I don't know what's happened to Big Ben, but yeah. The difference between like week 1 Big Ben and now week 6 to me is pretty substantial.
He's finally developing that connection with Antonio Brown that we had seen, in the years prior to this, and it just had not hit on this year.
No.
But that's finally there, and it showed on the last play of that game.
Exactly. That was a beautiful route by Antonio Brown. Perfect ball placement. I mean, that's Steelers offense to a T. My greatest concern or my greatest thought with the Steelers going forward is how Bell's going to impact their game. Le'Veon Bell projected back for the Steelers bye week this coming week.
He's actually not, though.
But that's the thing. Projected back. Very different than actually showing up, which he didn't do. So yeah, I'm very curious how that plays out. Because if you listen post game, they were Ben Roethlisberger especially was like, that was a great last game for James Conner. Like James Conner's done his due diligence. He has put in his time, but it's time for the big boys. And I thought that was really weird.
Yeah, that they're just giving up on James Conner
exactly.
like that.
Like, yep, James Conner, pleasure doing business, but hit the road, Jack.
Yeah, that sucks for James Conner.
It does. I'm not convinced that's what's going to happen. Though.
Yeah, me either. I'm not sure how efficient Le'Veon will be. I don't know if he plays that first week back. It just takes a lot, to get right back into NFL speed football. Even if you are working out and if you are in shape, it's just so different, the level of physicality.
And there's only so much practicing you can do. Like there's only so much. Like you can do as much prep and as much game work as you want at home, but there's just a difference between having to read defenses and read and react to NFL caliber athletes coming at you. You can't replicate that anywhere but the actual field.
Yeah, Le'Veon will essentially be playing like weeks 1, 2, and 3 against guys in their midseason form.
Yeah.
So I think that'll definitely be slow.
Yeah.
At first.
So you think it's slow? I think that makes a lot of sense. But you flip that and you think, okay, he's in he is pristine condition. He has yet to be touched this season, and these guys have gone through 7 weeks of hell. Like, these guys have their bodies just physically beaten up.
And he's fresh.
And
Yeah,
he's
that
fresh.
is the alternative way of looking at it. So
Yeah, I'm super curious to see how that turns out.
yeah, I'm more inclined to think it's the takes him a while to get going, but I would not be shocked to see he just tears it up, because he's fresh and everyone else is pretty fatigued.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked either. I mean, from a pros pro like Le'Veon, nothing short of greatness would surprise me.
No, I guess some concerns surrounding the aggression of Vontaze Burfict in this game. Yet again, Roethlisberger said after he laid out a pretty rough hit on Antonio Brown, then got up to the line and pointed at Juju and said, "You're next." I know, like, we all want football to be violent, but what are your thoughts on Vontaze Burfict? We've never had the chance to talk about him on the pod, but
Yeah, I mean, I love Montez coming out of ASU. I mean, he's a special talent. I mean, that is obvious from watching, 5 seconds of his game film. I think he is an elite talent at the linebacker position. I think his sideline to sideline coverage is replicated by few in this league, but you can't have attitudes like that. You watch the tape, and especially that Antonio Brown hit, he is just lowering the head with the clear intention of knocking some guys out.
yeah.
And that's it makes me so sad and so frustrated, because you want players like that in the league, and you want players of that caliber in the league, but you can't have attitudes like that.
Yeah, no, I'm all for big hits and physicality. It's part of what makes football football. But when you're going out there, launching yourself at guys, knowing you could effectively end their careers with one hit, that's not cool.
For me, it goes beyond that. With all that we know about concussions and how head-to-head collisions can not only hurt you but hurt your opponent and just affect them for their entire life, I feel like it's very short-sighted to aim for guys' heads.
Yeah, I don't think there's a whole lot of thought going into it, for being honest. I would assume it's a fair amount of blind rage and just I want this guy to get injured as much as possible. I think it would be, I don't think there's a whole lot of thought process thinking even a year beyond, even 6 seconds beyond the hit. I think his only thought process is deliver as bone-crushing a blow as possible. And while in theory that's what you're looking for in football, you can't have people intentionally aiming to knock people out of the game.
Yeah, that's because it's their livelihoods too, not just his.
Makes me sad though. It
Yeah.
really does. It makes me.
Because you're right, he is a really talented linebacker with just so much potential, but he everything he does on the play wise is just overshadowed by this unnecessary violence.
I'm curious at what point the NFL pulls the plug. Like
Just says you're done.
Yeah, exactly. It says we can't have players like you in the league. I'm very curious where that line is for the NFL.
I think he's getting pretty damn close.
You would have to think at some point they're just gonna be like, you're not worth it. We can't have players like you associated with the league. Like he is grade A, exactly what you're trying to weed out. Though that egregious level of violence is exactly the type of thing the NFL is super worried about.
Yeah. He is I think a good comp for this is Pac-Man Jones with his off-field stuff.
Sure.
But it's just on the field.
Yeah.
Where he just cannot stay disciplined.
Yeah. It's a shame. It really is.
I think there's a reason why ASU is not all up in everybody's face that he used to go here, or that he used to go to ASU.
Yeah, I don't think they're bragging about the Vontaze Burfict alumnus, but
I think they're bragging about another one though that we'll touch on in a couple minutes.
I think they are very happy with the certain performance of a former Sun Devil.
Yeah, but first let's talk about your team, the Chargers, beating the Browns pretty handedly, 38-14.
Yeah, similar to what I saw last week versus the Raiders, the Chargers did what they were supposed to do. They
beat a bad team.
They went out against an inferior opponent and proved why they're the better team, and that's exactly what they had to do. And this is quickly transforming into a magical Phillip Rivers season.
Yep. Melvin Gordon's looking pretty good too. 3 touchdowns for him.
Yeah. He is a special talent. He is awesome.
I'm really happy that he panned out. I did not think he would after his first 2 years. It just seemed like he wasn't really healthy. He just wasn't performing that well, and then starting in 2016 and really in the past 2 years has just blossomed into a top 5 running back, and that makes me happy.
Yeah, his evolution as a pass catcher out of Wisconsin has been the biggest, I think, the biggest culprit for this change. If we're really pointing to specific areas of his game where he's improved, his ability to act as a receiver out of the backfield and his protecting of the football. Those were his two biggest complaints coming out of college, and those are now debatably his two biggest strengths. He is one of the most secure NFL running backs in terms of holding on to the ball, and he is an elite option coming out of the backfield. He is so incredibly talented and so much fun to watch. He has come so far from that rookie season where I think it was somewhere in the 600s in terms of yardage and 0 touchdowns. And he has come so far.
Yep. Kind of a sleeper for the Chargers on Sunday was wideout Tyrell Williams.
Yep. 2 catches, over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, that's a pretty good day.
Yeah. Can't hate on that one.
For Cleveland, I was hoping for a good Baker Mayfield day. Unfortunately, he slipped on the sideline and suffered an ankle sprain. I think that's what they're saying it is.
Yeah.
So that sucks. He was pretty much hobbling around the rest of the game.
Yeah, didn't look fantastic. I mean, I don't want to discredit that injury too much, but there was some questionable throws. There was some for a Chargers pass rush that has not been up to its standards. He was bothered a lot in this game, and he made a lot of really questionable throws.
Yeah. I attribute a good chunk of that to the injury, at least in terms of holding on to the ball too long, those types of decisions.
Yeah.
Maybe not the ones to throw, but you're right. Not a great day for Baker Mayfield.
No, I mean his ability to get out of the pocket and be mobile is a huge part of this game.
Yeah, right? And when you take that away,
exactly. For a quarterback who already struggles to see over a big offensive line,
yeah,
taking away his ability to get out of the pocket is crippling. And so it's a learning experience for Baker for sure. But this game was over very quickly, and he was forced to do a lot of things that he was not comfortable in clearly, and that Hugh Jackson was not prepared to do. And so I think this game was over by mid-second quarter. It felt like.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It was 21-6 at one point, 21-0 at one point.
Was it ever 20? Yeah, it might have been 21-0 at one point.
So a pretty dominant day for the Chargers. Chargers had 5 picks against Nathan Peterman last year. Texans added on 2 more this week. They come out on top against the Bills 20-13. Josh Allen left the game with an injury, and that was about it.
Yeah, I mean, when a Josh Allen injury all but eliminates any chance of winning, you know that your quarterback situation is rough. Like that's when you know it's time to really reevaluate. I mean, I'm glad they brought in Derek Anderson to be their backup, but it's looking like he might not even start this upcoming week, which against the Colts, which would be just heinous. The idea that Nathan Peterman could get another start in the NFL
is just insane to me.
He has never finished a game that he started. That's crazy. That's absolutely bonkers. This man is the worst NFL quarterback to ever
play,
ever lace up, ever put on a uniform.
That's a take.
Yeah. No, I know. I don't think it's inaccurate.
I was talking with my dad a little bit earlier. We were talking about some of those, quarterbacks from the Browns and Dolphins and Raiders eras. I would probably take every single one of them.
I mean,
over Nathan Peterman. I
mean, statistically, it's a freaking joke. It's just, how did this guy make it past high school football? I mean, in the mind, he's all there. He is a solid football mind. He can read schemes well. He can read coverages.
Well, that's probably how he succeeded. He just knows the game pretty well.
Yeah, but there has to be a base level of competency for your arm talent,
and it's just not there.
And it's he just can't make throws. That final pick 6 that sealed the game for the Texans was a simple out route. And Nathan Peterman just I think he tried to zip it. He tried to put as much as he could on it.
And he just could not do it.
And Jonathan Joseph just had all the time in the world. I think Jonathan Joseph could have sat down, tied his shoes, filed some taxes, done like Bruce Irvin and made beautiful love to his wife. And then he had time to make that play.
Yeah.
Because that was just a floating saucer coming for Jonathan Joseph, and was the easiest probably pick six of his career.
You know what, Jacob? I'll give you this. His passing, I want to say played in 4 games last year. His QBR last year was 13.8. This year it's 5.3.
Jacob shared a stat with me right before we did the podcast that Alex Smith would have to throw interceptions on his next 92 throws.
91, I believe.
91 throws to match Peterman's interception percentage.
Yeah.
And that's Alex Smith. So,
I mean, lowest career interception rate
yeah.
is Alex Smith, and Nathan Peterman with the highest career interception rate. This is a joke. This is a joke of an NFL quarterback. Nathan Peterman should be ashamed that anyone ever thought he was good. His whole family should feel shame because this is embarrassing.
Yeah, I do feel a little bad for him, especially because he keeps getting thrown out there.
Yeah.
Because I don't think he wants to go out and be embarrassed, but it just keeps happening, and you feel like Sean McDermott would be like, okay, maybe I should spare my franchise and this guy some of the embarrassment.
Yeah, but
some of that falls on the Bills. If somebody's offering me a ton of money to do something I'm really bad at, I'm still gonna do it, even though I'm really bad at it. They're like, "Yeah, you're doing a good job. Keep going out there, man." Sure, okay, I'll take the money.
At some point, though, you gotta have some personal pride and be like, "Coach, this ain't it."
He's only been in the league for 2 years, so maybe he's like, maybe I can get like 4 or 5 years out of this.
I don't know what you're talking about.
but yeah, no. I mean, in all actuality, shout out to Peterman. Like, if you're gonna be this bad at your job and also collect checks, props to you.
He owns up to it too. I think he knows he's bad.
Yeah. He must at this point know he's bad.
But if you love football enough, I guess you'll do anything for it. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, okay, I refrain from shame. I regret that statement, but I do say, like, what are you doing if you're the Bills? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. How are you throwing him out there? I mean, they're claiming that Derek Anderson doesn't have a big enough grasp of the playbook to start this week, and my answer to that is Nathan Peterman does. You're telling me Nathan Peterman has a better grasp of the playbook.
I'd say he does, but his physical acumen is where he's lacking.
I think
but
you could get Derek Anderson out there and not even have like a hot route or anything. Just have him like throw these screen passes the entire game, and it would probably go better.
There's enough carryover between the league that he's going to have some
knowledge. Yeah, he knows the progressions.
The Bills' playbook is not 100% unique plays that Sean McDermott just whipped up. I would guarantee 80 to 90% of the Bills' playbook is similar to whatever playbook, what Derek Anderson just looked at, whether it was with the Browns or who was his last team?
I think the Panthers?
You're telling me, Jacob, that the halfback draw that the Bills run is not original to them?
Big shocking news here. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no on that one. But yeah, no. If Nathan Peterman starts another game, I'm not sure what to do in Buffalo.
To answer your question, Jacob, Derek Anderson was a Brown for 4 years, a Cardinal for 1 year, and he's been a Panther ever since.
Well, so considering Sean McDermott was the defensive coordinator in Carolina, I would have to think that there's some carryover between Carolina's playbook and Buffalo's playbook.
Yep.
And I feel pretty confident Derek Anderson could grasp that.
Yep. So
I think we spent way too much time on the Bills, though. The fact that we've talked this long about the Bills is...
Yeah, that is way...
I don't think Bills fans want to hear this much coverage about their team.
Yep. So we were just talking about backup quarterbacks, so let's talk about another backup quarterback. Jacob, what month is it?
Okay, so we just passed September, and it's not quite November.
Yeah.
So it sounds to me like it's Brocktober.
Definitely Brocktober. Brock Osweiler, the Sun Devil we were referring to earlier, came out, did not look like a total idiot, and the Dolphins managed to beat the Bears 31-28.
Not only did he not look like a total idiot, he looked like a freaking stud. He looked awesome. He had a great game.
Yep, 3 touchdowns, 380 yards.
44 attempts. 44. I admire the confidence in Adam Gase thinking, you know what, how we're going to win this game? 44 attempts from Brock Osweiler.
Adam Gase, of course, was Osweiler's quarterback's coach and OC for a little while in Denver. So this is something he talked about going into the game is Brock pretty much knew every play the Dolphins run. Because, he was the starter in that offensive scheme for 6 games during a Super Bowl run. So,
yep.
Obviously, worked out well for Adam Gase in Miami. It's looking like he might have to start again this week, but we'll touch on that in our preview podcast coming up in a couple days. Huge day for Albert Wilson, 2 touchdowns, 150 yards, 2 long touchdowns.
Yeah.
And Frank Gore becomes the first person to rush for 100 yards against the Bears this season.
That's incredible. That's just an all-around dominant performance from the Dolphins, despite the fact that they only won on a last-second field goal. The fact that this team was able to do what they were able to do against a clearly superior Bears team is downright amazing.
It seemed like even while they were behind, they were still more in control of the game.
Yeah, and that's just unreal to me. It does validate though a hill I am very prepared to die on, and that's the hill of Mitchell Trubisky's trash.
Yeah, he did have a couple bad throws in this game. One to T.J. McDonald in the end zone. Obviously, for the Bears, that touchdown would have put the game away, but did not come to fruition. Bears had a couple bad fumbles too late. One early at the goal line. That's a touchdown that would have put this game away. Not away, but the score obviously would have been different. And then another one at midfield with the game tied and a minute to go. So.
Yeah, a lot of really key mistakes from the Bears and a disappointing performance from Trubisky. After that 6 touchdown game, and then to have the bye to sit on that to come out with this kind of dud. I mean, statistically, he was there, 22 for 31, 316, and 3 scores, but
Tariq Cohen, I feel like, was most of this offense, not Mitchell Trubisky.
Yeah, there is a clear shift away from Jordan Howard and to Tariq Cohen, which is just fascinating to me.
Tariq Cohen did have a great game, but good for him, but what was wrong with Jordan Howard?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. They gave him the workload. They gave him the majority of the attempts. 14 carries for Jordan Howard, but only 69 yards. And
nice
compared to Tariq Cohen's 5 carries for 31 yards. You know, a substantially higher average, and the Bears' only running touchdown of the game.
Yep.
So that has been an interesting shift for me. But this Bears offense is good despite Mitchell Trubisky, not because of Mitchell Trubisky.
Yes, I would agree with that.
And so that to me severely limits their ceiling.
Yeah, I agree. Especially in a division with the Packers and the Vikings.
How worried would you be if you're a Bears fan about this defense? Just giving up 31 points and an L to Brock Osweiler. And
the 35-year-old Frank Gore. I don't know how concerned I would be. They're obviously, they were the number 1 defense going into this week. This might just be an off week. It was high 80s and humid in Miami, obviously not an environment they're used to playing in. I think that was definitely a factor, especially at the end of the game. Their defense just looked super gassed.
Sure.
Honestly, they lucked out when Kenyon Drake fumbled at the goal line in overtime. Eventually, it didn't matter, but they just looked more tired than anything, and I thought that was weird coming off the bye. I think the weather must have had something to do with it, though. I would not be too worried if I'm a Bears fan, but I also would not be as comfortable as I was before.
The 0 sacks from Khalil Mack, that's a concern if I'm a Bears fan.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see how he bounces back from that next week.
Yeah, I could see it being like a 4-sack game for Khalil Mack next week. Just he's like super pissed. Like, how did I not sack Brock freaking Osweiler?
Yeah.
You know?
Next week going against the Patriots, could definitely see a revenge game, national stage. That could be a great game for Khalil Mack.
Yeah, for sure.
Moving on though, I think. Moving on to our next game. What do you want to tackle next?
That would be the Rams and the Broncos. This game a lot closer than we thought it was going to be. I said this could be like I think I said like a 9-6 game, and you laughed at me, and I said, you know what, I laughed at myself. That was really dumb. And here it is. It's 23-20.
No, you weren't that far off.
I got the point differential correct.
Exactly.
I'll take that. Storyline though, Todd Gurley over 200 yards and 3 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
Still,
but real good day for Gurley.
A 3rd touchdown would have won me my fantasy game, but Todd Gurley only had 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, you don't deserve to win fantasy games after that despicable trade that our friend Emma Fernandez participated in. I get angry every time you win, but
thanks, Jacob.
But enough about fantasy and more to a confirmation to me personally about what I had some doubts in last week, but reaffirmed this week, and that's the Broncos' defense is good.
Yes.
The Broncos' defense is solid.
Yeah. For I guess if you look at the score, the 200 yards they gave up to Gurley do not mean that much. The impressive thing here is the 20 points.
The 20,
Or 23.
23 points and limiting Jared Goff to 14 to 28, 201 yards and no touchdowns, and picking him off.
Yep.
That's super impressive to me.
It was super cold.
Yeah.
I think that might have affected it a little bit. I'm trying to think of the last game Jared Goff played in like truly frigid conditions.
Yeah.
And it's harder to play all around in the cold. It's harder to throw. It's harder to catch. No one wants to hit you. No one wants to get hit. So that might have been it. But yeah, still a real good job by the Broncos defense. We definitely cannot give all the credit to the weather. I'd say 20% weather, 80% Broncos defense.
Yeah. I think like you just said, it was a super impressive performance from the Broncos defense. Really stepped up after Sam Darnold made them look silly last week.
Yep.
And to come back and make this game competitive against the best team in the league, that is a textbook definition of a moral victory to me.
Yep. I know Von Miller had not been very active in the past 3 games. I'm not sure if he recorded a sack this week, but I definitely saw him in the backfield a lot more than I had been.
He did. It was his first sack in a while.
In like 3 games.
Yeah, something.
Bradley Chubb had a great game though for the rookie. That game against the Rams, this past game against the Rams was his coming out party.
Yeah, 3 sacks. That's
Yeah,
pretty
that
impressive.
is huge for Bradley Chubb.
That is very impressive. Yeah, he's been really quiet this past year. Thinking back to the draft, the Denzel Ward over Bradley Chubb looked absolutely horrible at the time. We weren't laughing at it, but like we saw.
We were very shocked.
Yeah, the idea of passing on what looked like just a surefire stud pass rusher in Bradley Chubb looked like just an absolute blunder. But now it's looking pretty solid.
Yep. Definitely nothing against Bradley Chubb. I still think he's pretty good, but the decision to grab Ward for Cleveland in that spot was super smart.
Yeah, really. That's some foresight, and that's just John Dorsey's bread and butter. It's just just when everybody's zigging, he's zagging, and that's what I think. I mean, this is off topic, but
Yeah.
the Browns rebuild's going very well.
Yeah, I'm still not worried about Bradley Chubb though. He'll get there. It took Jadeveon a year or 2.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Pass rusher for a position where it looks like it would translate super well. I think we've seen that. Like it takes these elite pass rushers a couple of years.
Yeah.
I mean, Khalil Mack wasn't Khalil Mack until.
Yeah. Myles Garrett isn't there yet. I still think he's super special though, and will just be insane.
So back to Rams Broncos. Hell of a game from Todd Gurley.
For sure.
This is the type of game you expect though from the league's best running back.
Yep, 100%. Like I said just a couple seconds ago, cold, harder to throw. So you're really relying on him to ground and pound, and that's exactly what he did.
Yeah, I'm excited that the Rams were able to showcase that sort of game in a game that's going to get. And a game that's going to be one in the trenches. The Rams showed the ability to go out there and do that.
Yeah, and to me that shows that they're capable at this point of winning the game in every way possible, whether it's passing, running, whether their defense steps up. They just have all the pieces to win a Super Bowl. So
100%.
I'm excited to see where the rest of the season takes them.
Definitely.
So I guess we can move on to the next game. Kind of a disappointing one if you're the Titans. It's their first time being shut out at home since they were the Houston Oilers in 1976. They dropped this one to the Ravens 21-0. Marcus Mariota sacked 11 times.
Oh man. Yeah, I think something
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Double digits. It was 10 or 11. Josh, can you confirm that?
I can absolutely confirm that for you, Ryan.
Awesome, thanks. We don't want any factual errors here on Two Kids in a Trenchcoat.
Not about that life.
So is this more of just a terrible day for the Titans offense or a great day for the Ravens defense?
I'm gonna go the latter. I'm gonna go a great day for the Ravens defense. I think this is indicative of their performance. I think what they could hold on to the rest of the year. I think this is an elite unit that is that is centered around one of the best secondaries in the league. If you look at their collection of corners, Marlon Humphrey and Brandon Carr, and then their collection of starting safeties, Tony Jefferson and Eric Weddle, that foursome right there is one of the top units in the league. There is no weakness there. There is no sort of even really a chink in the armor at all. That is a those are four well-rounded veterans who just know the game and know how to play.
Yep. Then we just talked about Frank Gore being 36 and running all over the Bears, or 35, excuse me. You have Terrell Suggs at linebacker for the Ravens, who is still going. He recorded a sack of his own on Sunday.
Yeah, the ageless wonder.
That's impressive to me, for being honest.
Yeah.
Just all around for them to just shut down this pretty solid Titans offense. They did have that one game against Jacksonville, 9-6, but still a pretty good all-around performance.
Yeah, and just super impressive by the Ravens. This Titans offense is nothing to laugh at, and holding Mariota to 117 yards total, holding their leading rusher to 25 yards, also happening to Mariota, that is dominant in every sense of the word.
Can confirm it was 11 sacks, so that's pretty damn good.
Yeah, you're not no sneezing at that. But just a disappointing day for this Titans offense.
Yeah, for sure. I know we brought this up a little bit last week. It just seems like Derrick Henry is not getting the workload he should be. And it's starting to look like the throwing it to Deion Lewis in the backfield is not working out too well.
Yeah, neither of those options. Both of their running back options have looked pathetic so far. Nothing seems to be working for this team. I personally may have crowned Matt LaFleur a little bit too early. I kind of thought he was in that group of offensive geniuses of McVay and Kyle Shanahan and Matt Nagy. I was kind of grouping Matt LaFleur in there, and I may have jumped the gun.
Yeah, he has been somewhat of a letdown. Same thing, I think, with Mike Vrabel. You want to bring in a younger guy, someone like super energetic, former player. A more recent former player in just terms of coaches. And then he seems to be struggling to get it together as well.
Yeah, this is not what you're looking for here, the Titans.
I don't know if it's just the fact that he's a first-year coach, but it definitely looks like he lacks something that other coaches have. I'm not sure what it is, but
I mean, it might just be an acumen for the game. I'm not sure just where he's at schematically in terms of...
you can be a super great football player and just not have a great football mind, I guess.
Definitely. I'm curious to see how this Titans team responds. Still first place in the AFC South, incredibly, and traveling to London next week to take on the Chargers. So I'm very curious to see how Vrabel prepares his team for that, because I think I heard a take a couple days ago that these games in London are almost not single-handedly, but a huge factor is coaching and how you just because it messes with your internal clock and London games just mess with everything, and so. It is, I think, imperative that coaches kind of exert their will this week and kind of show what they're made of.
Yep.
That's why I like the Eagles in their London game, because they have a London insider, if you will, Jay Ajayi, who is British.
That is true. Yeah.
Jay Ajayi is British. Jay Ajayi played in London in 2017 for the Dolphins. Did not have a great day, though.
But
that's unfortunate.
Let's talk about the Eagles' division rival, the Cowboys. I hate to say it, but how about them Cowboys? I really hate to say that.
Beat down on Jacksonville, 40-7. I don't know how to describe this game. I'm just worried about the Jags all around. This seems more like panic button for the Jags and maybe meh for the Cowboys. I couldn't care less about what they did. I'm super worried about Jacksonville, though.
Really? Okay, so my main takeaway was just shock. I think you could have given me 30 different alternate scenarios for how this game would play out before I landed on this. Dak Prescott looked elite,
like rookie Dak.
Dare I say that next upper echelon of quarterback that Cowboys fans want to group him in with, and he's just not. But they proved him right. He looked awesome against a fantastic defense. I'm less worried about the Jaguars than I think you are. I don't want to crazy overreact to one game, but it's hard to point to one thing that the Cowboys did super well that everyone else isn't doing. I'm not really sure why this was the breaking point for the Jaguars, except they just rammed it down their throats. Just Zeke and that offensive line looked back to 2016 form. They looked absolutely dominant.
I don't know, if you're losing 9-6 to the Titans, who you should be better than, I feel like, or at least I thought, And then this Cowboys team, who all year we've been saying, yeah, it's just not working out for them. They're not that good, and come out and beat Jacksonville 40-7. I think a lot of it has to do with Blake Bortles. I think we've pretty much seen peak Blake Bortles. That was week 2 against New England, and it'll just... it's not the same, and it never will be.
That date will just live in infamy for one of the most confusing NFL football games of all time, I think.
Yeah.
I still can't really wrap my head around how that happened. How Blake Bortles looked like Tom Brady as he took down Tom Brady. Yep. I still can't get it. I still can't understand it.
I mean, I know you like TJ Yeldon a lot. It just seems like they're having trouble getting the ball moving all over the place. I don't know if Leonard Fournette can help that either.
Yeah.
Is it going to be too little too late once they get Fournette back? I don't know, but
it might be. But the fact that the Titans still lead this division indicates to me that it's wide open. The AFC South is still very much up for
this
grabs.
Could be. We thought it was going to be 3 teams with double-digit wins. It looks like 9 and 7 could win this division at this point.
Oh man, we might have been really off with this division, but I don't know. I still have faith. Texans have won 3 in a row. I still kind of have faith that team's going to turn around, and I still think the Jaguars. I am far from counting out this Jaguars defense. I still think they're really good.
I definitely don't want to count them out, but they need to figure something out pretty soon here.
Small note about the Cowboys. I know it got waved off, but Michael Gallup with a hell of a touchdown catch.
Yeah,
he looked dynamite. He's kind of not establishing himself, but kind of emerging as that maybe missing piece in the Dallas receiving corps, because they are bereft of talent over there, and someone like Michael Gallup and his skill set could really help.
Yeah, I agree with that. Michael Gallup, I was a guy I was really high on coming out of the draft. In one of my mocks, I projected him as early as the Packers. Then he fell into the second, ended up with Dallas, but that's definitely a great acquisition. I know we really went after them for not taking that receiver in the first round, going with Leighton Vander Esch instead. But this is definitely looking like a sound choice in taking Michael Gallup.
Definitely.
So I like what he's done so far, and I like what I think he'll be able to do.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, I think that he could be that missing piece for that offense.
So moving on now to the Sunday night game, thriller in Foxborough. Patriots, Tom Brady game-winning drive, win this one 43-40.
Yeah.
Thriller all around. Patrick Mahomes, despite his first career loss in the start, balled out once again. Tyreek Hill in the fourth quarter was just insane. The Chiefs looked, obviously not on defense, so I think that's what we've seen all year from that defense. The Chiefs' offense just looks unstoppable, except the Patriots just happen to score a little bit more points.
Yeah, I mean, just who had the ball last.
Yeah.
That's I think we saw from the second quarter this was going to be a classic, whoever ends up with the ball last is winning this game.
Yeah. This game was 23-9 in the third quarter.
Yeah.
And it ended 43-40. So
scoregami. This is a weird scoregami to me. I feel like how is this?
This not happened before?
Yeah.
But first time ever this score has happened. Shout out Ryan Latica. You probably learned about him last week.
Yeah, 2 straight Ryan Latica.
Yeah, man.
Plugs on the podcast. Wow.
Yep. So, is there anything you would take away from this game that does this game impact the trajectory of the AFC the rest of the year?
Interesting. No, I don't think. I'm not gonna lie. For a game as awesome as this, I don't think we learned a lot. I think.
No, me either. I think we saw exactly what we've been seeing.
Exactly. 2 electric offenses, 2 crappy defenses, and thrown in a cage together, and one shall remain. This was just a fun game. Tyreek Hill looked crazy. Tyreek Hill looked like everyone else was playing on a rookie, and this man's balling out on all Madden.
Yeah.
Because the way he was just able to hit those corners with these slow ass Patriots safeties was just incredible. It was just so much fun to watch.
Yep.
I mean that second touchdown. Yeah, his second touchdown, the one where he third. Catches it in the middle of the field and just breaks for the sideline, and nobody can
stop him.
Nobody's in close. And yeah, he's so much fun to watch.
Yep.
For the Patriots, I think we're always looking for that next great Patriots running back. I feel like for the last 5-6 years, it's been just running back by committee.
Yep. No one really since Corey Dillon, I feel like.
Exactly.
To be an elite running back in...
Marion Barber. He was an elite running back. No, not really.
But yeah, Sony Michel, their first round pick, is I wouldn't say he's elite yet, but he's definitely, working his way into the NFL pretty well after a disappointing first couple of weeks.
He is so complete. I think that's the thing that I enjoy most about watching Sony Michel is he does so many of the little things really well from the jump. You can tell that at Georgia, he was just a veteran. I think probably from the jump. I would imagine that if you look back at reports from Sony Michel as a freshman, he was showing things that we would see 3-4 years later down the road in terms of just what he brings to a football team and just the level of competency he brings in every facet of the game. That's what's so exciting for me.
Yep. I hate to say I'm excited to see the Patriots finally have a good running back, but I'm kind of excited.
And here's the thing, I think they have two really good running backs.
Yeah.
I think Sony Michel's awesome, and James White. I think James White's
Yep,
super talented.
he's super reliable, too.
Super reliable coming out of the backfield, electric with the ball in his hands. I think a plus receiver. He's exactly everything you're looking for out of that third down back.
Yep. So they've got a pretty good thing going there.
Yeah, the stability they found at the running back position, I think, is something we haven't seen from the Patriots in a minute, and really elevates their ceiling. Like giving Tom Brady a competent running game, much less and like what could shift into a elite unit is scary.
That's very true. You have the greatest quarterback of all time and two really good running backs. They'll mess some teams up.
Yeah,
sure.
really. And add on top of that, a receiving core that is looking much friskier in the past couple
Yep.
days.
Chris Hogan's really stepped up. Gronk even just looks so much better in terms of where he was before.
Did you guys hear Tom Brady tell Gronk to just stand up in the middle of that game?
Yeah, there's a clip going around. Yeah.
Hey, Gronk, stand up. I think that's funny. Nothing beats Matt Ryan, though, on Monday Night Football last year where someone was messing around and Ryan just yells, "Get fucking set!" And that was funny.
That's the best mic'd up moment. Yeah, that's on the short list for sure. That's on the short list. But the electricity Josh Gordon has brought to this receiving core, I think, is going to pay dividends for the rest of the season. I think just the balance he has brought and that just next level of excitement is just it's just incredible. It adds so much to this Patriots offense and just makes them so much more of a complete unit.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Definitely a breakout performance from Sony Michel. I know for the Chiefs, there's someone you thought had a really underwhelming performance, not just this week, but maybe the past couple weeks as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you're playing the Patriots, going into the game that their main objective and what they do better than any other team in the National Football League is take away your best option. And for the Chiefs, that was Travis Kelce coming to this game. I think they really thought that was the matchup they were going to be able to exploit. The Patriots have no linebackers that are going to be able to stay with Travis Kelce. They're all either too slow or too small, and that's the matchup we're going to exploit. And Bill Belichick was once again able to take him completely out of the game. Travis Kelce finished the game, 5 receptions, 61 yards. But I felt like most of that came in the late second half. Like I feel like I think Travis Kelce had one catch going into halftime. So then it falls on the second and third options on the team to pick up, because that's where you're beating the Patriots. And Tyreek Hill did that, no doubt. 7 receptions, 142 and 3 touchdowns. That's what you're looking for. But from the Chiefs' second wide receiving option, Sammy Watkins, you got to have more. Sammy Watkins was their big free agent acquisition. That was kind of the guy they brought in to bring more balance to this offense, make them a little less one-dimensional, and he comes out with 2 receptions for 18 yards. Can't have that.
Yeah, not a great showing from Sammy Watkins.
That's not what you're looking for, and that's super disappointing, because when they brought him in, he was definitely supposed to be 1A alongside Tyreek Hill. Like, those are two, I think, in their mind, 2 elite wide receivers, and Watkins has been okay this year, but I don't think anything towards the level they were expecting. And that's really disappointing for someone who I think is still one of the more talented wide receivers in the league.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And so to see him flounder like he has is disappointing and kind of indicative of what his entire career has been. And so I don't know. I'm curious to see how he bounces back. I'm curious to see if he's able to regain some of the potential that we saw with him in LA. But yeah, I don't know. It's not looking super encouraging so far for Watkins' Kansas City career.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Definitely an underwhelming week and season so far a little bit for Sammy Watkins. So I guess with that we can move on to our last game of the week, Monday night. Definitely somewhat of a shocker between Green Bay and San Francisco, but Green Bay barely pulling this one out.
Yeah, main takeaways from this game. I can't decide if it's more of C.J. Beathard looking competent or this Packers defense being trash, and I'm kind of leaning towards the latter, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that is really Unfortunately, we've said this almost every week. Josh Jackson and Jair Alexander have been somewhat of a letdown. They definitely just need to get it together. HaHa Clinton Dix, there's, rumors that he's not sticking around, and it seems like he's kind of mentally out of it.
Yeah.
So definitely some concerns for the Packers defense, but as long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy, my overall concern for the Packers is not too high.
No, yeah.
I think they're fine.
I think they're fine, but like having a bottom 10 defense, severely limits your ceiling to me.
Yeah.
That barely qualifies you as a playoff team.
Yep, it's hard to win a Super Bowl with that.
It's functionally impossible. I don't think it's ever been done before. We keep hounding on this trio of young corners for the Packers: Jair Alexander, Josh Jackson, and Kevin King. They have dedicated draft capital to the cornerback position. Clearly, those are 2 first-round picks. No, that's 1 first-round pick and 2 high seconds. So this is clearly a position of need, and all 3. I think cornerback might be the most difficult position to learn as a young player in the NFL. So understandable that they're struggling, but man, they need to step up quick.
Yep.
Yeah, I think when you look at the Packers, I think the best they could hope for is a Super Bowl appearance, because I think as of right now, it looks like they're going to be facing either Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes in that Super Bowl. And if you think for a second Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes isn't going to light up that Packers secondary for like 50 points, you have another thing coming.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what's going to happen.
But end of the day, they made the plays when it mattered. Kevin King coming up with that clutch interception with a minute left. Yep. And gave Rodgers enough time to drive down the field.
Yep, Packers missing Geronimo Allison tonight.
Randall
Cobb. But Devontae Adams, Equinemius St. Brown, the guy with 2 last names.
Martez Valdez Scantling.
Yes.
That guy.
All 3 of them stepped up in big ways tonight, and all 3 of them had an impact on that game-winning drive. So.
Yeah. No real concerns on my part from this Packers offense.
No.
All of my worries for them stem from the defense.
Aaron Rodgers looked pretty healthy tonight. He's pretty much all the way back from that sprain he suffered in Week 1. Had a huge 21-yard run on that drive. Something I didn't think I'd see from Aaron Rodgers the rest of the season, let alone again, if we're really being honest. So huge play, and that one in particular gave me all the confidence that I had lost. It gave it back to me.
Yeah.
So I'm on the Aaron Rodgers is going to start to tear it up.
I would not be shocked.
I may or may not have said that before the season.
For the Packers, another main concern I have with their defense is Mike Daniels. Mike Daniels, for the past couple seasons, I think has asserted himself as one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league. He has been a dominant force for the Packers defense. He is disruptive in both the pass and the run game. And just this year, there's been a major drop-off. I'm not sure if it's age-related or something schematically, but Mike Daniels is not producing at the same levels we've been expecting.
No, I would agree with that.
And that's been huge. He's coming into the year, the trio of Kenny Clark, Mike Daniels, and Muhammad Wilkerson look like to be one of the most feared in the league. That is a dominant trio.
But one's okay, one's bad, and one's hurt.
Exactly. And so you can't.
That's just a huge blow to this Packers team.
Staying on this game though, C.J. Beathard looking frisky.
Yeah. I thought his worst pass, or at least the worst one I saw, was that one at the end. He just really underthrew his man. And even then, it was still a pretty good play, so I might take that back that was the worst one of the night. But
yeah. And usually I would say, that's just C.J. Beathard just not having the arm. But we saw on a couple bombs tonight to Marquise Goodwin that there's some arm strength there that I personally did not know C.J. Beathard possessed.
I did not know it was there either. But it is, apparently.
Yeah.
The fact that he was able to keep this Niners team in the game, even though, we just trashed the Packers defense a whole bunch, I think that does say something. It shows that I think the team has, gotten behind C.J. Beathard. Like, they kind of know that their season's shot, but they're not just going to go out there and
they're not going to roll
drudge through all 16 games or however 10 games they have left now.
I mean, he gave C.J. Beathard gave the Niners a lead in the fourth quarter. I mean, you can't ask for a whole
against
lot.
the Packers. That's pretty good. I hate to say this is a moral victory for the Niners.
I think that the Niners proved to themselves today that they have a chance to compete in this league even without Jimmy Garoppolo.
Compete might be a strong
Yeah,
word, but be in a lot of games, yes.
Yeah. So if you're one that believes in moral victories, I would consider this one.
Yeah, definitely. Excited to see where not really that excited to see where the Niners go, but Beathard being confident is exciting.
It'll be nice to see C.J. Beathard, kind of, I guess, redeem himself after a rough 2017 season. If anything, if that's what the Niners take away from this, I think the season's not a total loss.
Bingo.
Game-wise, anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we're moving on to everybody's favorite segment, and that is offensive, defensive, and special teams players of the week.
Yep.
Let's go ahead and get started. I'll give you my offensive player of the week, and that is Atlanta Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan. Another really special performance from him. I think you were telling me pre-show that 12-0, 12 to 0 has been his touchdown to interception ratio in the past 4 games.
Yep.
3-1 Panthers, or no, not 3-1. What are they? Are they only 2 and?
They're 2-4.
2-2 in that 4-game stretch.
Oh yes.
But that's some level of competency we haven't seen from Matt Ryan in a while.
Yep. Not since that MVP year.
Yeah, exactly.
I think maybe not the Matt Ryan of old, but Matt Ryan definitely has figured something out.
Exactly.
I think he really has a great connection with Calvin Ridley. It seems like whatever he had with Julio early on that he had lost over the past 2 seasons is back with Calvin Ridley.
Exactly, kind of coming back, and that's super exciting for him and his long-term potential his long-term ceiling. Matt Ryan's.
Yep, for both of them.
If he's able to extend his career with just elite receiving cores around him, that's really exciting for the Falcons, at least when they get all this. Next year, I mean, as depressing it is for the Falcons, you have to look at next year. Like you're already kind of done with this year, and next year can be really exciting if they're able to get a top 10 pick on that defensive side of the ball, get all those players healthy, and a rejuvenated Matt Ryan. That's a scary team.
Yep, I would agree with that completely.
Yeah, so my offensive player of the week, Matt Ryan. Great performance. How about you, Sharp?
So my offensive player of the week is the first time we've had a non-skill position player, and that would be Miami Dolphins tackle Jawan James. He was up against Khalil Mack the entire game, did not allow him to get into the backfield one single time, which was great for Brock Osweiler because we know Brock is big and awkward when he moves around. He didn't have to do a whole lot of that, and a big portion of that came thanks to Jawan James, keeping the league's best defensive player to no hurries.
So yeah, zero sacks, 0 pressures.
Yep.
That's impressive. That's kind of ridiculous if we're being honest.
This is Mac's first game of the season without a forced fumble or a sack. And for that to come against Jawan James, that's kind of cool for me to watch and super impressive for anyone to do.
Yeah.
I'm happy it was someone on my favorite team that did it.
Yeah, I think just this more than anything proves just how volatile the NFL is as a sport. I mean, Jawan James, former first round pick, correct?
Yep.
Jawan James, and yet not the most storied career up to this point, but this is the potential that makes him think that makes the Dolphins clearly think he could be their right tackle of the future.
Yep. He's 5 years in now, so we'll have to see where that goes. Hopefully he can keep it up, not just for my own enjoyment, but quarterbacks and sanity of coaching staff and everything as well. So moving on the defense now, who do you have?
I have Dallas Cowboys corner Byron Jones as my defensive player of the week. Only targeted 3 times in their matchup versus the Jaguars. Didn't allow a catch, 2 pass deflections. But this is more of I don't want to say a team award, but indicative of just how dominant this Cowboys defense was the entire game. They were able to shut down the entire Jaguars passing offense. They were able to lock up, as jokingly as one might say this, they were locking up Blake Bortles, which I think is more impressive than I think we would have stated at the beginning of the year. That certainly means more. And so I think this Cowboys defense, a much maligned defense that I personally have not been a fan of, then huge step this week. Huge performance, and I think that starts a lot with Byron Jones.
Yep, Dallas definitely stepped up in a huge way. So I guess for me now, my defensive player.
1 second on that.
One more thing?
Yeah, we all know Byron Jones is an incredible athlete, but I think he's really taken a step schematically and sort of in not the fundamentals, but that next level of being an NFL corner. Like he always had the athleticism, a world record holder in the long jump. But to really put it all together as a complete coverage cornerback is super exciting.
Yeah, for sure.
Currently graded as PFF's #1 corner in the league. He is a matchup nightmare for anybody. There is no receiver in the league who he doesn't have an athletical even who he's not athletically matched up well against. Like even against Tyreek Hill or like no matter the skill set, he's gonna be okay.
Yep,
and that's what's super exciting about Byron Jones. But
sure.
but yeah, tell me who your defensive player of the week is.
Mine, I guess, isn't as exciting as yours, but made a couple big plays. That's Zadarius Smith from the Baltimore Ravens, sacked Marcus Mariota 3 times, en route to the Ravens' 11 total sacks. That's just a big day, and I think that warrants some recognition.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Zadarius Smith kind of not coming out of nowhere, but definitely not the most heralded player on that on that stacked Ravens defensive line, and he balled out. He was awesome.
Yep, that's definitely just a huge day for someone we don't get to talk about a whole lot. So
no.
Shout out to you, Zadarius Smith.
Yeah, we know you're listening.
Yep.
Appreciate the support. But yeah, great day for him. Great day for Ravens defense in total, but especially Zadarius Smith. Moving on to special teams. Who do you have for your special teams player of the week?
My special teams player of the week this week from the Monday night game is Mason Crosby. Last week had the atrocious week, 1 for 5 on field goals, missed an extra point as well. Tonight goes 4 for 4 on field goal attempts, including the game winner. He said after the game last week was just rough, and this week was new and different, and he felt fine. Clearly, because his head was on, and his mind was there, and his leg was there, and he showed up and did what he had to do.
I like it. My pick is in a similar vein. Steven Gostkowski for the New England Patriots, going 5 for 5 with a long of 50, including the game winner. So yeah, two great kickers this week. 2 preeminent Pro Bowlers who one of them had a rough week last week, and both of them came back with super strong performances. Don't want to leave out Jason Sanders though.
No, Jason Sanders of the Miami Dolphins hit his career long, and then hit another 47-yarder at the end of the game as time expired in overtime to clinch the win for Miami. So definitely a big day for kickers in terms of walk-off field goals.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. After
a lot in week 5 and in week 6. So.
Yeah, I think it is indicative of a trend that I think there's a lot of parity in the league where we stand right now.
It's coming down to who has the ball last.
Exactly, coming down to who has the ball last and who has the best coaching. Because I think in a lot of these close games, they come down to field goals.
Yep.
Coaching really shines through, and the ability to manage a game is really imperative.
Yep. I mean, we look at all these close games we had this week that ended it pretty much in the last couple seconds. Like we just said, New England, Miami. Bills Texans came down the last couple minutes. Steelers Bengals last couple seconds. So I think you're right. There's definitely a lot of parity that we haven't seen before.
Yeah, and that's just super exciting for the league going forward. I think on a week-to-week basis, we just have very little idea of what's going to happen, and that's really exciting.
Yeah, I really like that.
Me too.
It's super different, and
exactly.
I'm excited for something new.
Exactly. So. At the risk of being wrong all the time, it's still really fun.
Yep. All right. Anything else you guys want to add on?
No, can't wait for week 7, and we'll be back in your ears later this week with our second podcast of the week, previewing the upcoming week's games. So stay tuned for that.
Have a good couple of days, guys, and we'll be back talking to you again real soon.